Simon, and good evening everyone, and welcome to the State Theatre tonight for our City Talk about ethical living and choices. I'd first of all like to acknowledge the Gadigal people of the Eora Nation, the traditional custodians of our land. As many of you know, last year we adopted Sustainable Sydney 2030. It's focusing on urban living and priorities in harmony with our environment. It's an investment in the future and future generations. We committed to a 70% reduction in greenhouse gas emissions by the year 2030 based on 2006 levels. But more than just setting targets, we identified where the reductions need to come from in key areas of buildings, transport, energy supply, as shown by our waterfall chart. We put that up to show us all the things we have to do, but not to get too upset about all those things we have to do. If we do at least each of them, we know we're going to get there. 2030 is not just a guide for Sydney's future, but it's a practical plan to tackle global warming and to position Sydney as one of the world's leading green cities in the race to address climate change. Cities make up 2% of the Earth's surface, but over 50% of people live in our cities, but our cities produce a shocking 80% of our emissions. Cities are a big part of the problem, and they can and must be a big part of the solution. We made sustainability the overarching theme of 2030, based on expectations and strong endorsement from our city communities. Our consultations were the most comprehensive the city has ever undertaken. Many of you probably participated with the thousands of other residents, with business people, with people from the arts, cultural and education institutions, and our community organisations. Overwhelmingly, people told us that by 2030 they want a city which is smarter, more open, more welcoming, more inclusive, clever in the way it does business locally and internationally, and less congested. People want better public transport, they want better public spaces, and they want sustainable development. And 97% told us they want us to address global warming. We have been given the mandate to act. And underlining 2030 is a conviction that sustainability provides the central ethical framework for public policy and planning. Governments need to provide the information, the support, the infrastructure to make sustainable choices, to make the choices to make sustainable choices desirable, possible, and easier and even automatic. To move towards that, the city has been working at a number of levels. Firstly, by greening our council operations, getting our own house in order, supporting our employees, leading by example, trialling new approaches, and using our organisational strength to enable new green products and markets. Secondly, by helping our local communities and businesses, providing information, bringing people together, and offering the needed services. And finally, by leading transformational change, reorganising the way the city operates through projects such as Green Infrastructure, the Green Infrastructure Master Plan, and advocating for national policy reform. And we've been working to achieve this across a wide range of issues in our buildings, waste, transport, food, and animal welfare, and I'll refer to each of these. In terms of building and energy, we support sustainability for business through programs like City Switch. It was originally a Sydney initiative supporting local government and commercial property tenants to reduce their emissions. That project has now gone national. It's now in all our capital cities. I'm also encouraged by the enthusiasm and the initial commitment from government agencies and private companies to work with us on our Green Transformers strategy. This is a network for decentralised power, cooling and heating plants that provide cleaner local energy. And one project in our residential environmental action strategy, we're trialling energy monitors in residents' homes. I was interested to hear Simon Marnie. It's going to be in Simon Marnie's home and it's going to be in Adam Spencer's home. What we're doing there is working with people on practical energy reductions involving a range of households, whether it's a terrace house, a freestanding house, an apartment, a share house, a family, couples or singles. So at the end of that year, we're going to be able to get that information back to inform further action. Something else that's very popular in our libraries are power mates. They're all booked out now, and they're just a simple device to enable people to measure what power they're using, what greenhouse gas emissions they're emitting, and what their power is costing them. And of course that leads to energy savings. We've also reduced our own energy use right across our portfolio. Independent experts have verified we can achieve at least 48% greenhouse gas reductions by 2012. And we aim to do it in a way that can be replicated by other councils, other levels of government and property owners. In terms of transport, to provide for more transport sustainable choices, we're building a network of cycleways across the city LGA. We've completed the first of the city's safe separated cycleways, symbolically in the CBD, the heart of the CBD in King Street. It's part of the 55 kilometres of separated cycle paths and the 145 kilometres of on-road cycle paths across our city, part of our total commitment of 70 million over the next 4 years. In addition, of course, we're running popular and booked out bike education programs. And they're actually for adults, and they're for adults so that they can get used to cycling in city traffic. We're of course planning a bike car scheme like Paris, Lyon and Barcelona, but we're not going to do that until we've got the safe cycleways in place and the cycling culture established. Of course, our other big focus is pedestrians. We're building on Professor Young-Gill's work to change traffic patterns to create a friendlier walking environment. And we're promoting car share schemes as an alternative to car ownership. We're providing car share parking spaces in new developments, and we're reserving on-street places. Public transport, of course, is a vital part of the equation, but as we all know, it's a direct responsibility of the New South Wales state government, and we're continuing to put a very strong case for investment in inner-city transport, especially for light rail, which can quickly help transform and humanise our city. In terms of waste, we're promoting the city's zero waste policy to city households, to businesses, to schools, to support domestic waste and recycling services. We run free composting and worm farming workshops. We offer an extensive range of waste and recycling services. We aim to inspire and to arm our communities with the practical knowledge, the skills and the tools that they need to avoid, to reuse, to recycle and dispose of waste safely. Building on curbside recycling and specialised pickups, we now send half of our domestic waste to the Jack Scully's waste treatment facility, which enables the city to achieve 57% diversion from landfill. We also provide e-waste and chemical waste services for residents. Our 2014 target is 66%, so planning is underway for a new alternative waste treatment facility that could further divert domestic waste from landfill, while also processing commercial waste and generating renewable fuels, which of course will enable us to realise our long-term goal, which is waste to energy, which could be used in our green transformers. We've received strong support for our ethical food guidelines. Catering at community and civic functions now includes free-range eggs and organic, seasonal and local produce. We require caterers to use food products that are locally produced or organic, sustainable, cruelty-free or from fair trade sources, and packaging that is recyclable, compostable or biodegradable where possible. We work with Hawkesbury Harvest to provide our festivals and events with fresh seasonal produce from farms in the Sydney Basin. We also want to see access to farmers' markets and community gardens in every part of the city. We're supporting 13 community gardens and a number of growers and fresh food markets and food cooperatives, encouraging residents to grow their own or buy organic and locally produced goods. This helps to reduce the amount of greenhouse gas produced by food transport, as well as promoting more sustainable farming and food production practices. We run a wide range of popular sustainability programs about reducing energy use, growing your own food, composting and recycling, and we're improving recycling for our own employees. And I don't know if they all know this yet, but we are installing a worm farm at Town Hall House. Animals remain multi-million-dollar industries that put profit ahead of animal welfare. From live exports and pet sales to cruel factory farming for meat and eggs, our personal choices condemn many animals to unnecessary suffering. At the City, we've introduced more progressive policy around the treatment of animals, including promoting and supporting responsible pet ownership. Our dog obedience courses are quickly and routinely booked out. We've also selected a new animal pound on the basis of its commitment to rehoming and humane treatment, and we've extended off-leash areas in public spaces. I've introduced legislation into Parliament to ban the sale of cats and dogs in pet shops. To reduce impulse buying and inhumane puppy farming and the dumping and the leading to the destruction of pets. It was over 60,000 in New South Wales just last year. But this bill has not yet got government support. So all those people clapping, please continue to lobby the government. It's really important we get this very simple and very practical bill through. And this is to commemorate just have a sip of water here, our companion animal of 16 years, Shiva. She died last year. Isn't she gorgeous? And that's the opening of Redfern Park. Professor Peter Singer is our very welcome guest speaker tonight, and he of course will broaden our perspective on our work. He is especially well known for his work on animal rights and food ethics. I look forward to tonight's discussion about the ethical implications of addressing global warming and adopting sustainable lifestyles and business practices. As consumers, we all need to understand and consider the impact our personal choices have on the welfare of animals, the exploitation of workers in developing countries, and on the degradation of our environment. In conclusion, at the City, we believe that the full range of sustainable action is needed to secure Sydney's place as a global, livable city. Each facet strengthens and improves our city as a whole, making it more livable and a thriving economy, and a safe and cohesive city. But more importantly, this action is essential to secure our future. The individual choices that each of us make in our daily lives have collective impact on the sustainability of our planet and our ability to respond to climate change. We want to make these choices more possible through leadership and innovation. We want to make them easier through support and information. And ultimately, we want to make these choices automatic through strategic change in our city's infrastructure. Thank you, and I hope you enjoy tonight.